Am I nuts? What am I getting myself into here? Hi, and welcome to the very first and who knows, maybe the only episode of WheelTrish Knits, My Life in Yarn. I watch so many knitting podcasts every single week that I thought maybe I should give myself a chance to see how this works and see if I also like doing it and if I have anything to add to this space. But I can tell you, the ramping up to this and the talking myself into it and the not psyching myself out part gives me a whole new layer of respect for everybody out there in the knitting community that keeps me entertained every week on YouTube. So, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a mom, a wife. I live just about halfway between Washington, D.C. and Baltimore in Maryland, and I've been a knitter since about 2003. I was a crocheter before that, but then a serious injury to my wrist uh, curtailed my crocheting adventures. The twisting motion became a little bit hard for me, so I would went about maybe 9 months or so without yarn in my hands, and it drove me absolutely crazy. And then I discovered knitting, and the hand motions involved in knitting are completely different. So they don't cause me the same kind of discomfort. And I've basically been knitting ever since. And that started in about 2003. So I've been at this a while. I'm still not very good at it. And I tell people all the time that I have knitting ADHD. I'm sure that's a thing because I'm one of those people who loves to get started on new projects, and I have a massive pile of projects, but very few things that I've finished that would show for the amount of knitting that I do every single day. I think the last time I counted my whip pile, I probably had about 60, yes, 60 things on the needles. That's absolutely insane. And maybe I'll go back and finish a few of them, but the others are just hiding and they can stay there. That's how it is. So I'm thinking that me being here is going to be a little different. I mean, the typical formula for these things goes this is what I'm working on, this is what I finished, and here's what I bought since the last time we met. I'm not going to do that because, as I mentioned, I very rarely finish anything. I knit an awful lot, so you probably will see various projects throughout my time here, but who knows if they'll ever get it to finished object status. We'll see. I don't know. I also work full time, so I don't have a huge amount of time to knit throughout the day. Um, it's kind of a luxury that I allow myself to have in the evenings. And so mm, while I knit every single day, it's not for long stretches of time. So my progress is often pretty slow. Does that mean I don't have anything to say? I don't know. I guess we'll see. this is just going to be a little different, and hopefully everyone will be along for the ride and we'll just have some fun together. The other thing I guess I should probably mention, if you can't tell, I am a person with a disability. I'm a full time wheelchair user. And there are some things that are different about being in this space as a person with a disability. And maybe we'll get to talk about that a little bit as well. Also, I really hate make alongs, so don't ever ask me to host one. Make alongs are not the best thing in the world for slow knitters who never finish anything. They just kind of make us feel like we're always bringing up the rear, and that's kind of no fun. I know most people that host make alongs say that it's not about finishing and it's not about being first, but come on. I watch all those things as they're happening, and the people that seem to be having the most fun are the ones who can beat anyone else in the knitting race. So I'm just not going to do that. Anyway, we'll see what it is that I might have to offer to the community. I'm not even sure yet, really. This is my first time recording a video. It's weird talking to yourself in the camera. I don't know how anybody really does it, but we'll see how it goes for me. Knitting is fun. It's what I do for enjoyment. It's what I do for community. It's how I've made most of my friends. I have a knitting group that used to meet in person on Saturdays, but in the pandemic, uh, we got used to meeting on Zoom. And then several of our most important members scattered during that time. And so we're still meeting on Zoom. And then I have another group that started out as email only, and then they added a Zoom night on Sundays. So Saturdays and Sundays are spent knitting with other people and having that camaraderie. And I absolutely enjoy that part of my knitting community experience. Anyway, so I'm hoping, I guess, to be able to reach out and build even more community here. I'm not ever intending to make money doing YouTube. Um, I know people that do it, but man, it seems like a lot of work to keep up with uh, the requirements that various advertisers have, and all that stuff. So, yeah, no, that's not going to be me. Um, I'm just here for the fun of it, and if it's not fun, I'll stop. We'll see, but hopefully it'll be fun, and hopefully I'll have interesting things to say. So, anyway, why don't we talk a little bit about what I'm working on? My main project that I've got right now is a blanket. I do love making blankets. Um, and I will hold this one up a little bit, but trust me, it's big and it's a little hard for me to hold it up. It is just a plain garter stitch striped blanket made out of a Miss Babs yarn 7 skein fade set, to which I added an 8th skein because I had a colorway that I thought went with the other colors pretty nicely. And so I've been using a sort of randomizer spin the wheel thing to determine how many uh, rows to make each stripe. It's just garter stitch, so I'm counting garter ridges, and every time I start a new color, I spin the wheel and it tells me how many ridges I need to make. So that keeps it interesting. Plus, I am changing colors fairly often, so that keeps it interesting as well. Here's my latest progress keeper. I tend to change the position of the progress keeper once a week after I've checked in with my Sunday night group. Um, I move the marker after I've shown them my progress for the week. Um, this was where I was on Sunday, June 7th, and today is Saturday, June 13th. So you can see how much progress I made this week, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a fairly significant amount as far as it goes when you're on Team Sloth knitting. So, yeah, I'm really happy with how this is going. I've been working on this blanket for 4 months pretty solidly now. And man, I am looking forward to being able to knit something else at some point soon. And I'm afraid to kind of cast on anything else so that I don't lose my momentum with this blanket, because I really want to be able to finish this project. But we'll see. My track record indicates that maybe I won't get this done. But on the other hand, 2 years ago, I did make a baby blanket for a coworker that took me longer to knit than it did for her to knit her baby together. So I was surprised that I was able to finish it and gift it to her. The baby was a few months old by the time I gifted it. It was my intention to give it to her when the baby was born, but it took me longer to get it done than I anticipated. But I was proud of myself for actually sticking to the project and finishing it. So let's see if I can finish this project as well. But I also have a pair of socks that I'd like to start. These are um, Stars and Stripes socks by Mustache Yarn. Um, I just want to do a plain sort of vanilla sock type thing. And this is a self-striping red and white striped skein. And then this other one is blue with occasional blips of white. So it looks like a blue uh, field with white stars on it. And this is what I would put in the heels, toes, and cuffs on the socks. And am I a sock knitter? No way. I've only ever finished one pair of socks in my entire time knitting. I've started a heck of a lot of them, but I never seem to be able to finish. But again, I'm highly motivated because the yarn is so special that I really want to be able to get it done. And I've got this project all set up to go in my rainbow bag from Whimsy Stitches. It's Pride Month, and so it's appropriate, I feel like, um, for me to be using this bag a lot right now. It's the perfect size for socks, um, and I love the see-through aspect so that I can see my project and be encouraged by my progress. Um, I enjoy using this bag every year, but the truth is that I use the rainbow bags all year, all around the year, because rainbows are some of my favorite color combinations, and I really enjoy being surrounded by bright colors. people that know me know that my favorite color is purple. Um, I particularly love a nice deep shade of aubergine. Um, when I got married, uh, goodness, 33 years ago, um, the bridesmaids wore a very deep shade of purple uh, in their gowns that they had for my wedding, and I've just always really enjoyed that color. So um, you'll probably see me using lots and lots of purple yarn throughout our time together. I tend to pick a lot of projects that are made with purple yarns. In fact, right now I'm going through a project where I'm cataloging my stash, which is pretty much out of control. Um, I recently commandeered this room that I'm sitting in right now. This used to be my daughter's bedroom. She's grown and moved away, and she lives in Florida and she's living her best life. So, this room before she was born used to be the space where I did a lot of my crafting. And so I reacquired this room, and as you can see, I have bins on shelves behind me, and all of the bins are labeled with what kind of yarn is in them. But I'm going through a process right now where I'm entering everything into a spreadsheet so that I know what I have, because I have a bad habit of out of sight, out of mind, and I tend not to shop my stash. If I see something new and shiny in the yarn universe that I have to have, I will buy it, even if I have something similar already, because the yarn that I have already is not in front of my face. So um, I'm trying to get everything cataloged so that I can start shopping my stash. Because truthfully, probably within the next 5 to 7 years, I'll be retiring, and so I need to make sure that um, I learn how to use what I have before all of that happens. So, and goodness knows, I probably have more yarn than um, I can knit for the rest of my life. So, yeah, I hit Sable stash acquisition beyond life expectancy um, a long time ago. And when we brought my stash into this room, I had to pare it down a little bit so that it would fit into the space that I had. And my yarn has gone to some interesting places and some wonderful people that have made good use of it. Um, so I'm happy that that happened. But man, today um, I spent a couple of hours adding the first 6 boxes of yarn to my spreadsheet, and I already have over 46,000 yards of yarn uh, accounted for on my spreadsheet. And I only did the first 6 boxes, and I think I have a total of like 36 boxes. So, yeah, I've got a ways to go and so much yarn. I wonder if I'm going to have a million yards by the time I'm done. Who knows? Probably not, but it's going to be way more than I thought, because goodness knows I thought 36,000 yards or 46,000 would be what was in 10 boxes. I was kind of surprised that that much yarn fit in only 6. So, yeah, I've got a ways to go. Anyway, I don't know what else to talk about right now, but I'm hoping that you'll stick with me and that we'll find things to talk about. And yeah, maybe at some point I'll give you a tour of my yarn room, and we'll have lots of other things to discuss. But for now, um, thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you soon. Bye.